Well, let's get you the latest on the SVB crisis. Of course, we've told you that HSBC has gone ahead and bought Silicon Valley Bank's UK arm. But what about the India exposure post the collapse that we've seen from Silicon Valley Bank? Rima's here to give us the latest on all of that. Rima, over to you.
Thanks so much for that. So Silicon Valley Bank, founded in 1983, over time became the go-to financial institutions for startups. So let's start with that question. Why was SVB Financial the preferred banker? Experts that we chatted with said that they had startup-friendly policies. So many United States banks, US banks, were unwilling to lend to Indian startups because some of them had no employees in the United States. SVB was different. As Gokul Rajaram of DoorDash tweeted, "From what I hear, SVB was the only bank who would bank a Delaware corp with founders who didn't have a SSN, the Social Security numbers. It was unique and tech-forward bank." Nazara Technology told CNBC-TV18 in an interview that SVB helped them with faster onboarding of international customers. And plus, it was such a big name in the tech world, which is why they dealt with them. As a result, many startups had investments coming in from SVB Financial, and these startups deposited their capital raise funds. Now let's move on to what we know so far about which Indian companies have exposure and what's been disclosed so far. Nazara Technology has an exposure of 64 crore via two of its subsidiaries. Kidopia is one, and the other one is MediaWorks. The company did tell us in an interview that they're well capitalized. They're hopeful of a full recovery of their deposits of 64 crore rupees, even though the situation remains quite fluid.
The overnight statement by Senator Yellen saying that the government will kind of, ensure that all depositors are covered, not only the amounts covered by $250,000, but beyond that as well, gives us a lot more hope. They offer, especially for international companies like ourselves and our subsidiaries, much faster onboarding and on-ramping, for accounts. Inc. is a subsidiary of Paperboat Apps, which is our subsidiary of Nazara Technologies. And they have more than sufficient funds to meet the working capital. They also largely operate in a positive working capital cycle. So I think there is no issue whatsoever. And same goes for DataWorks. That's a smaller exposure of $1.3 million, approximately 10 crore rupees, and very easily manageable by the subsidiaries themselves. So the point is, even Nazara does not need to step in to support these subsidiaries at this point of time.
Another company which has exposure is Freshworks, the Indian origin SaaS startup listed on Wall Street. And here I quote, "Freshworks has been a customer of Silicon Valley Bank since our early days, but as we grew, we brought on larger diversified banks like Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan and UBS. Our exposure to the current SVB situation is minimal relative to our overall balance sheet. We're working with our customers and vendors who are using our SVB account to migrate to alternate bank accounts. We do not foresee any disruption to our employees or customers, and even though the Fed and the FDIC are providing a backstop, the Indian government right now is watchful." Union Minister of State for Electronics and IT, Rajiv Chandrasekhar, said on Sunday that he will meet up with the startup founders and CEOs this week to understand the impact, to see how the government can assist them in overcoming the crisis. Meanwhile, even as the ripple effect of the stunning and the sudden collapse of SVB Financial has rattled the tech world, it's raised questions on whether VC funding will now slow down. Will it adversely impact the job markets? For now, experts believe the wider sector fallout from this appears to be limited. Back to you.
Okay, thanks a lot for that. Well, that's an update on what's happening with SVB and, of course, the impact that it would have on Indian businesses as well. Let's slip into a quick break. On the other side of the break, we'll have more from the commodity markets. Manisha Gupta will join in. She has with her Peter Maguire of XM Australia. Stay tuned.